Welcome to an educational session on nutrition and physical activity. Today we're going to be talking about healthy meal planning. Now, what is healthy meal planning? Healthy meal planning is asking what's for dinner, the what's for dinner question once a week instead of asking it every night, and then shopping and prepping for the ingredients before cooking. So it is certainly all about planning your meals ahead of time. Now, this task, I can be honest, it kind of seems a little bit daunting to plan your meals and think about a whole 7 days in advance. But a little bit, taking some time to think about it ahead of time is going to lead you to success. And it's going to lead you to having a nice, healthy plan of meals and less likely to be ordering out or making unhealthy choices. I have some tricks to give you to make this process a little bit easier. We don't have to overcomplicate things. So we can focus on the macros. Our macros are our carbohydrates, protein, and fats. So if we think about what our meals should look like and have those macronutrients, specifically the carbs and the protein piece, then the rest will kind of fall into place. So what you want to think about is when you're planning a lunch or a dinner, is what is going to be on your plate that is a good source of starch. I say starch because starch is a form of carbohydrates, but it's more so thinking about your grains or your starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, grains, and pastas and rice, and those sorts of foods. So that would be one section of your plate. The other section would be your protein. Now that's either going to be animal protein or it's going to be a plant-based protein like beans or lentils or nuts or seeds. Then we've got our vegetable. It's really the biggest part of our plate. So we want to make sure that if we're planning our meal, we're thinking about half of our plate being attributed to vegetables, half of our plate, most of it. The other 2/4 of our plate divided between the starch and the protein. So if we think about that, it's only 3 main ingredients that we need to think about what we are going to eat. Another way to do this, instead of just focusing on kind of the carbs and the protein aspect of it, is using our food groups as a guide. Now, by the end of the day, we want to be getting most of our food groups in through all of our meals. So we can use it as of a guide. So say we're thinking about dinner. We can try to pick at least 3 of those food groups to think about what we're going to eat for dinner. Grains, protein, dairy, fruits, and vegetables. They all can fit. And the same kind of theory goes along with lunch. And so those are the 2 options for you. Me personally, when I'm planning my meals, I think about protein, starch, vegetable. Sometimes I get fancy and I want to try a different recipe, but most of the time I'm very basic when it comes to that. I think about what's our protein, animal source or plant source, what kind of starch am I making, and what am I making for a vegetable? And I often wind up making more than one vegetable because I needed to fill half of our plates. So let's keep going from here. We need some ideas, right? What are our protein ideas? Now I've got some things that can be on the easier side, right? So sometimes when it comes to preparing meals, we don't want complicated. We want things that we can do on the easy side. Frozen veggie burgers, I love. I can pack them for lunch. I can make them for a quick dinner. They are a healthy plant-based option. So if I were going to make a meal and I was going to use a veggie burger as my base, I would take a veggie burger, a whole wheat bun, and a side salad. I'm done. What am I cooking? The only thing I have to cook is actually that veggie burger. So I try to keep things as simple as possible so I'm not going crazy when I'm trying to feed myself healthy, my family healthy, and I'm trying to support the workouts and the exercise that we're doing. And so some other healthy protein ideas, turkey and some lunch meat, just try to keep it on the lower sodium side. So lean turkey, chicken, rotisserie chicken that you can get at the supermarket. Just take that skin off of it because that can be very oily and we don't need that extra fat. But that would take away the place of needing to cook the protein. You pair that with the starch and a veggie and your dinner is a quarter of the way done. Some other quick ideas are hard-boiled eggs. I'll often make a batch of those one night on the weekend. So this way I can pick them for breakfast or for lunch. I have healthy protein snacks for on the go. And so I just included a quick way to actually cook hard-boiled eggs. That's just a tried and true version. You want to cook those hard-boiled eggs in cold water. Put the eggs in cold water. Turn the heat up. Bring it to a boil. As soon as it boils, stop. Turn the heat off. Put the lid on it and time it for 12 minutes. After 12 minutes, you run it over cold water. Perfect every time. Just thought I'd share that trick with you guys. So here are some veggie ideas. We want to really try to increase our vegetable consumption with all of those nutrients that we need to support our exercise and our workouts. This is how we're going to do it. So one easy way is those pre-prepped washed and mixed greens, the mixed lettuce greens. That's an easy thing for you to add to your meals. Steaming or blanching vegetables, such as blanched broccoli or cauliflower. And what that means is you're just taking your boiling water and you're adding broccoli or cauliflower right into that boiling water, and you're only cooking it for a couple minutes. It should still stay brightly colored. Salads, string beans cook quickly in the pan. Frozen veggies. Oh, you've got to have some frozen veggies on hand because they can take minutes to put into a pan and just warm up on the stove. So when you're thinking about planning your meals, you want to think about even just knowing that, okay, I've got frozen veggies on hand in the freezer. That's what I'm going to cook on Tuesday night. That just gives you ahead of time. It takes away that stress of thinking about what you're going to eat. And when we're trying to reach our fitness goals, knowing what to eat is one part, but changing our behaviors and making sure we have the healthy foods around us is a really important piece to this puzzle. So some starch ideas. So most of my meals to keep us satisfied and full are going to have a nice source of starch. I love baked sweet potatoes. These are the easiest things. So get the smaller ones you can so they don't take too long to cook. Wash them, poke them with a fork, and put them in the oven. Bake them at 400 degrees for about 30 minutes. That may seem like a long time, but that's the chance that you can use that time to do any other kind of cooking that you're going to be doing for that meal. Frozen rice. You can get frozen rice, frozen brown rice that takes 5 minutes in the microwave. You have to do nothing but pop it in and press a button. Am I promoting microwave cooking and frozen veggies all the time? No, but it's an easy, healthy choice. If that's going to help you to be cooking a little bit more frequently and planning those meals, then great. So when it comes to meal planning, you don't always have to do all of the prep ahead of time. Sometimes just writing down what you're going to be eating is half of the battle when it comes to thinking about our food choices and making healthy ones. Other easy ones are quinoa. Now, quinoa is a good one that you could cook ahead of time. Then you can add some little bit of flavors later, little salt, little pepper, some fresh cut up veggies, sauteed veggies. You can kind of jazz it up. But that sits well in the refrigerator. So make a big batch of quinoa and you got your starch ready to go for your lunches or your dinners. Whole wheat pasta, always an easy and healthy choice. Whole wheat roll for the veggie burger or a chicken sandwich is another good option. So this is basically how I plan my lunches and my dinners is protein, vegetable, starch. What am I doing for each one of those things? And if I have those 3 things on our plate, my family feels satisfied and they feel good about it. So here's some overall general tips is keep it simple. Try to think of at least one thing that you can kind of put in the oven and forget about it for a little bit while you go off to a different task. That really helps save some time and some energy. One of my favorite things is sweet potatoes, chicken thighs or chicken breast with no skin, no bone, roasted cauliflower. I can put that in the oven and spend a little time doing something else. And that works for meal prepping on the weekend too. Think about some things that are semi-homemade, right? Things that you're doing a little bit of prep, but not completely. So frozen veggies that you're pairing with the salad, frozen burgers, the frozen rice, rotisserie chicken. You can even make your own pizza using whole wheat naan, jar sauce, low-fat cheese, and tons of veggies. And you've got a quick lunch or dinner that's healthy, that's including all the food groups. We may think of pizza as unhealthy, but if you're making it at home and you've got whole wheat bread, you're not boiling on the oil, you're using low-fat cheese, you're adding a ton of veggies to it, you've now got grains, dairy, vegetables, and it's a healthy meal. You're getting all of those 3 food groups. Now, meal planning, plan for eating out. We are going to eat out sometimes for the most part, so go ahead and plan if you're going to eat out or order out. That makes it less overwhelming when you're planning your meals. If you say to yourself, okay, I know Friday is going to be the day that we order out. And this is what we're going to order. Say it's pizza. Order a salad on the side because then you won't need too much and you'll still get lots of veggies with it. But it's nice to plan that overall.
Today's nutrition code word is plan. Plan, plan. Remember to log your code word.
Here's a nice meal planner that you can utilize, and it's a way for you to write down what are you going to eat and the prep needed. Then on the other side, you've got what you need to go purchase at the food store. The first step is writing it down. This way, you're not thinking about it on that day or on that night. You have a plan ahead. If you plan ahead, then you know you have got to make sure you have those foods. And so some of the time, yes, all right, so this is what I'm going to be cooking tomorrow. I'll prep it maybe that night before, or maybe I'll cut up the veggies the morning before my work day and make life a little easier on me, capitalizing on small pieces of time. But the most important piece, honestly, before even the prepping, is knowing what you're going to eat and that you have those healthy choices available to you. So in summary, when you're thinking about healthy meal planning, you've got two ways to do it. You're either going to choose the macronutrients to guide you, so starch on your plate, protein, so carbs, protein, and vegetables. You're going to have those three components with your lunches and your dinners, or you're going to use the My Plate to guide you and pick 3 food groups. You've got grains, protein, vegetables, dairy, and fruit. So pick 3 of those food groups, and that's what you're going to try to find recipes for your lunches and meals. The biggest step here is to take that initiative to plan. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.